Hi, I'm Phil, Youth Services Librarian at Octavia Falin Children and Youth Library. Welcome to Hour of Code, a tech program for elementary and mid-school age students where we create cool projects like animations and video games. This month, we're learning how to use a coding platform called Scratch to code simple video games. And along the way, we're learning some important computer science concepts as well. If this is your first time joining us, I'd recommend choosing some of our earlier videos from this month, and those are linked in the video description below. Let's go ahead and get started with this week's project, which is a platform game. To do that, please click on the starter project link in the description below, and you will see a project that looks like this. Go ahead and click on Remix to make a copy of the project for yourself. The first thing that we're going to do is set up our stage. Our stage is the area where all of our sprites are over here. And so right now I'm going to move my monkey sprite, my player sprite that my player is going to control, down to the ground here. And I'm going to move my platforms a little bit so that there's a little space for him to start out with. And you can move sprites around on the stage by clicking and holding the mouse. The other thing is I might make my monkey just a little bit smaller. With any sprite, you can control its size by selecting the sprite in the menu down here. So I'm going to click on Monkey 2. And then changing the size here. Right now it's at 75, so I might make it something like 65, for example. The next thing that we need to do is add in another sprite to be our goal sprite. So if you hover your mouse over the little cat down here, and then go to the magnifying glass, you'll come to the sprite library. In my case, I think my monkey might like to get bananas. So I'm going to click on bananas and it creates that sprite, and I'm going to hang those up at the top. Again, I might reduce their size, change 100 to 80. And so now I think my stage is set up well for my game. Next, we need to add some code. So I'm going to go over here to my sprite menu and select my monkey, because this code is going to be controlling him. And I'm going to be going back to events. Now this was an important computer concept that we learned 2 videos ago when we were creating our, I believe it was our racing game. And events are when something happens in a game, such as a player pressing a key, that causes something else to happen in the game, such as a player jumping or moving. In this case, we're going to create an event which causes our player to jump. So I'm going to go over here to our events section of our coding menu, and I'm going to click on when key space pressed. The space key is a common key to make a player jump in games. And when the key space is pressed, I want my monkey to jump. Now there isn't actually a code block that says jump, but there is a code block up here under motion that changes the position of the sprite. So we're going to actually go down in the motion menu a little bit until we find the change Y by block. And so we're going to bring that change Y by out. On any sort of a graph, X refers to the direction left and right, so horizontal, and Y refers to vertical direction. And there's also positive and negative. So positive is going up, and in positive X would be going to the right, negative X would be going to the left, positive Y would be going up, and negative Y would be going down. And so we're going to use those X and Y directions to control or to tell the program how our monkey should move. So in this case, when the space key is pressed, I want my monkey's Y position to go up. So change Y by 10. And I'm just going to put that here, and then I'm going to press the space bar and watch what happens. In that case, my monkey jumped about this far off of the ground. He also didn't come down yet, he just went up. Now if I keep pressing space, he's just going to keep on going up. So far I only have half the jump programmed. Now I need to program some gravity to make him fall back down. So I'm going to go to an if statement. That's found in the control part of our coding menu over here, the orange circle. And I'm going to pull an if statement out. And what I want to have happen is if my monkey is not touching the ground, I want him to fall until he's touching the ground. In this case, it's nice it was already set up that the ground or any of the surfaces that our monkey might stand on are this black color. So I'm going to go over here to the sensing part of our coding menu and choose touching color ? And put that in here. And instead of color pink, I'm going to click on my little eyedropper tool and select black. So now if he's touching the color black and I want him to now decrease or go down with his Y position, so I'm going to go back to change Y by again and put it in here, but now I want him to go down. And so that is going to be a negative. Let me just put it as -10 for now. Right now, my if block says if he's touching the color black, then change y by -10. Well, I actually want it to be the opposite of that. I want it to be if he's not standing on a platform or the ground, then he should go down. And so I need to actually go over here to operators and find a not block and put that in here. Perfect. The next thing I need to do is create an event to run this code. So I'm going to go over to events and click when flag clicked. Now let me go over and click the flag and watch what happens. Oh, when I click the flag, my monkey sprite character did go down -10, but he only did once. He didn't actually fall all the way to the ground. The reason for that is because I've told the computer that when the flag is clicked, check if he's touching black or not. And if he's not, change y by -10, and then I get to the end of my script, and there's nothing else. So what I want is I actually want the program to continually check if he's touching black and always make him drop or make him go down if he's not touching black. So I want a loop that's under the control part of the menu called forever. And forever tells the computer, don't just check once, check again and again and again. So I'm going to put that all the way around my when flag clicked. And I'm going to click the green flag, and now my monkey drops to the ground. And if I pick him up and drop him, he goes right down to the ground. If I put him above a platform, he should land on a platform. So now I've programmed it so that my monkey can jump, but right now his jumps are very small. So I need to go back here to my space key being pressed event, and I need to change what happens when I press the space key. Right now it only changes y by 10, but I want to make that quite a bit bigger so that he can jump a lot higher. I'm going to try something like 80. So now if I press the space bar, now he jumps roughly to the height of the first platform, which is what I want. The next thing that we're going to need to do is program the ability to move the player from left to right. And we're going to use the same type of events that we used in our racing game. So we're going to go to events here, and we're going to do a couple more when key space pressed. We're actually going to do 2 of them. And then we're going to change that space key to left arrow and right arrow. So now, when the left arrow key is pressed, something is going to happen, and our monkey's going to move a certain way. And when the right arrow key is pressed, our monkey's going to move a different way. So let's go back to our motion. And like I said at the beginning of this, Y controls up and down, but X controls left and right. So right down here beside the change Y by block that we used to help our monkey jump, there's also a change X by block as well. So I'm going to bring 2 of those out here. Now once again, positive X moves toward the right, negative X moves toward the left. So we're going to say that when the left arrow key is pressed, we actually want our monkey to go -10, but when the right arrow key is pressed, we want him to change X by 10. So now if I press the right arrow key, he should move over to the right, and the left arrow key, he should move over to the left. Now the same thing is true that was true with our racing game, which is that's not the smoothest way to control a player. We can add a little bit more code so that it's a little bit smoother. So I'm going to go over here to control and use a repeat until block. I'll actually get 2 of them, 1 for each one, and put them around the change X by. And then we want to repeat the moving, either negative or positive, until the person lets go of the arrow key. And so we're going to go to operators and choose a not block for each of these. And then we're going to go to sensing and choose the key pressed button. Sometimes your scripts will overlap with each other, and you can just move them around so that you have space for everything, and that is totally okay to do. So when the left arrow key is pressed, we want to repeat changing X by -10 until the left arrow key is not pressed anymore. And same thing, when the right arrow key is pressed, repeat changing X by 10 until the right arrow key is not pressed. And now my monkey's going to move a lot more smoothly. And I can also jump as well. All right, so now I can jump from platform to platform with my monkey. The last thing I need to do is program a way for my player to win. So I need to tell my monkey that when he touches the bananas, he should celebrate in some way. So I'm actually going to go back to this when flag clicked script. This is the script that continually checks if my monkey is touching black and makes him go down if he's not touching black. But I also want the program to continually check if the monkey is touching the bananas, and if he's touching the bananas to do something. So I'm going to go to the control section of the menu and grab another if block and put it right here inside of the forever loop below my other if statement. Now I'm going to say if my monkey is, and I'll go to sensing here and go to touching, and instead of mouse pointer I will choose bananas. If touching bananas, then, and now here is where you can really get creative. You can have anything that you want to have happen when your monkey gets to the bananas. In my case, I might go to the looks section of the menu and say yum for 2 seconds. Let's see what that looks like when I play the game. I jump to the platforms and he gets to the banana and says yum. Now, there is so much more that we can do with this game. One thing you might notice is that our monkey does not drop even if his head is touching part of the platform, which isn't very realistic. We should program it so only his feet can stand on the platform without him falling. And we could make the game harder in a lot of other ways as well. To make your game better, I'd encourage you to click on the add-ons link in the video description below. That will take you to the add-ons page. And the add-ons page contains a whole bunch of tutorials from Google CS First, which is the curriculum that we're using for the coding this month. And there are a whole bunch of other things that you can add into your video game to make it more challenging or to make it more realistic. And I encourage you to check at least a few of these out and try and add those to your game. Well, that's all for Hour of Code today. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you're really enjoying being able to make some video games with code. As always, you're welcome to join us every Wednesday at 4 p.m. at the Children and Youth Library if you'd like to get some help or just code with other people in person. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope to see you again next week.